Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
5 days to Arnold UK.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't even know who all's doing it.
I know you
Well,
got
we'll see if
Andrew.
Mike does it.
Supposedly he is.
Andrew and Hottie, possibly. I hope he shows up taller.
No, Hottie's out.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, is Jack doing it? Andrew Jack's? And Martin, right? Martin's doing it for sure.
I believe so. That's what I had heard.
So
Yeah, what else is he going to do? Right?
That's going to be an interesting comparison there.
It can't go worse for him, right?
I mean, after what we've seen, who knows?
I mean,
Let's see if they have the lineup up. I don't see it on the website.
I mean, he should. He's up.
Oh, the website's terrible. If you go to the YouTube page or their Instagram page, you probably find it. I think they had it. They had it on their Instagram.
That actually makes sense for bodybuilding. Instagram is like big for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you, Andrew's looking pretty nuts. I saw an update of him on YouTube. I think Nick Strength and Power, and he just looks even fuller and tighter. He looks from pictures.
He gets better and better. It's incredible. It's
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing with house money right now. I mean, he has nothing to lose. Just fucking come in, full as a house. I mean, I would just have fun, man.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what does it matter at this point?
That's a good point.
The real question is Mike going to show up and make weight?
He's on
the list.
Yeah.
All right. So there's not a lot of guys in the open. We got Andrew Jack, Martin Fitzwater, Brandon Curry, Hakeem Williams, Hassan Mustafa, Mo Foda. Blessing is going to be there. Patrick Moore, and I do not know Abu Kunate.
That's a younger black kid there. That's
that's the kid that won North Americans the other year.
Yeah.
So
I have
Mo's
the
in it.
list up to share if you needed to pull it up.
So Mo's in it, which is interesting and good, right? He's going to be, assuming he stays or comes in like we just saw in Detroit. That's going to be fun. And man, I really want Brandon to do something top 3. I really would love that.
Yeah, he's really looks good.
Oh, he looks great, and I just want somebody with who's over 40 that has good legs to place. Okay, that's all there is to it. I would love to see that, and that man has worked very hard. Mm-hmm. He's worked very, very hard.
Yeah, so that's coming up. That's and I get Wesley's supposed to do the classic, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're all hoping for Mike Sommerfeld too. I mean, he's made it public that's what he said his intentions are, is Arnold UK.
I can't imagine hopping on a plane. I mean, Mike was in Vegas, right? I think that's where he was at. How the hell do you do that long ass flight and bring your best on stage? I guess someone's being young. I'm looking at it from an old guy's perspective, but I'm like, geez.
Or maybe he just likes his name in the news.
I mean, is he still in Vegas? Is there no chance that he flew ahead of time for the thing? Give himself some time to be there and adapt.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is I think it was just a few days ago he fully said he was in, where that was his intention. So we'll see. I'd like to see him, be compared up to Wesley. I think that'd be pretty cool. They got different looks too. You really kind of break down what kind of classic look you're looking at, and they're different individuals for sure. You got the longer, taller, conditioned look that you get with Wesley, and then you got this shapely, one of a kind Mike Sommerfeld, who knows how to bring the condition in as well. So it'd be interesting to see them at their best and what's the differentiation of what the judges are going for between two different classic looks. You know what I mean?
Tina said she saw him in Vegas last weekend. I get the feeling with Mike, he just kind of goes whichever way the wind's blowing. I don't know that there's a big grand plan for a lot of what he does. Which is
wherever Iblis tells him to go, I guess.
I mean,
internal.
God love him, man. What a great way to live.
I'm curious I am curious to just quickly ask what you guys think because of his strategy. You know, Amy and I talked about it earlier a while back about his coach and him seemed like they were actually anticipating to get a good height. Like they were bought in, they to get a good height, they prepped for a taller height and then got bit in the butt when they should have probably prepped for a lower height, giving them a lower weight. You know, it looked like
they
really
heighted him higher than he was counting on his height being higher than it was at the Olympia. I mean, that just seems like just a really bad strategy to me.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. That's all I'm
saying. And it didn't work. Bold strategies often fail spectacularly. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I wonder why they thought that it would go like in that perfect direction for I don't know. It seems like a silly hope.
Somebody with some connection somewhere probably told him, hey, they're going to re-height you and get you in a little bit taller at this show.
And they believed it. And they believed it.
Yeah, and they believed it. So, yeah.
I mean, it's just like a guy to lie about 2 inches, right?
Is it 2 inches though, or is it like a quarter of an inch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in reality, most people who have been standing next to him who are also honest about their height say he's probably closer to 5'7", but he thinks he heights in at 5'9". Mm-hmm. So,
from what I understand, the IFBB, and this is what I've been saying they should do, evidently where they were taking the heights from last year or whatever, and that's what you're using for the next couple years, and then you can re-height again. So that's why he got caught with his pants down, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, what would you do in that spot, though? If as Coach Paul, I mean, I could imagine you're just going to be anticipating that you're going to be 5'7". We're going to aim for your weight to be at that 5'7" mark. I mean, the more I thought about it, I think Amy was right. It's just silly of the coach to even not have a backup plan and say, hey, let's just go for the lower height. Let's go for the lower weight. And if we get judged at 5'9", I mean, weighed in at, heighted in at 5'9", that just gives us more wiggle room. It's just a benefit.
Well, they allow him to weigh in 2 days early at pro shows. So it's not like you didn't have time.
The Arnold doesn't. The Arnold's a one-day weigh-in, and his coach actually was on a podcast saying that if he'd known it was a one-day weigh-in, he wouldn't have let him do the show, which means he knew that it was going to be tough.
Yeah,
2 days medically
kind of
safer.
Like a save your own skin type of comment too.
What was that, Mike?
I said that honestly sounds like a kind of save your own skin kind of comment that you would make on podcast.
I mean, who's his coach?
Neil
Hill.
Neil
Hill. It was on a podcast though that came out probably 2 months ago. It was a while ago. Like it was one that came out. It wasn't like it was really close or it was after. It was actually really far before, which, even it was kind of a worse look. Yeah. Gun Melgill says, yeah, he waited until 11 and had until 12 because it was. So I guess even if he'd wait in like right when they opened, like right when they were allowing him to come in, that would have given him at least a little more time. But it just seems all around. I agree with you, Dave. Like it looks bad on everybody because of the way it went down.
It just seems like extremely not thought out, mismanaged strategy.
I'm just picturing how this went down. They probably talked to somebody who knew somebody who said, "Hey, bro, we're going to get you in. Just come in big and full. We'll height you in at this." And then they didn't re-height him there, and he from what I understand. And then he was like, what the fuck? So whatever his strategy was, laying on an inversion table, wearing a hairpiece, I don't know.
Never place all your bets on that one person who says they're going to do you a favor.
Yes.
One thing I know that I've heard of guys doing this. I'm not saying I've told guys to do this, but I've heard of guys doing this where they put heel lifts on their socks when they get on the
Hey,
According to Arnold UK Instagram page, as of 1 day ago, he's in. So
okay. So we might get that rematch after all if he weighs in.
Now, if he hadn't talked about it so much and made such a scene about it, like nobody had ever said anything about it, how long do you think this height thing would have gone on without being rectified? Probably a lot longer.
Yeah. This is also the same dude who missed the registration time for the Detroit Pro because he didn't realize that West Coast time was different than East Coast time.
Yeah. Hour late.
America's all one time zone.
he does kind of strike me as the sort of person who, if he has a belief about himself, it would be hard to convince him otherwise.
That's
Right?
called illusion.
Even if facts and math are prove the point.
I mean, he just seems sort of like you're a freewheeling friend that's just living life and doing whatever, and just happens to be a bodybuilder.
He has very excited young boy energy. Just,
Well, Wesley was calling him out on it ahead of time too. He did on one of his it was a couple weeks before that he said he was going to come in at 6'4" because what do oaks do? They grow. I was like dying. Like I was laughing out loud at that.
Could you imagine Wesley missing his timelines and miscalculating his height?
Oh,
no.
Absolutely
No.
not.
No, he's not the type of guy that would do that.
Well, he's 6'2". He doesn't have to. So there's no he's as tall as you get.
6'3", I think is where is what he told me they heighted him in at.
No.
Yeah, he's tall as shit.
Yeah. So he's taller. I mean, I talked to him briefly at the Detroit. He's definitely taller than me.
Oh, you're bigger, but he's taller, yeah.
I don't know if that I'm bigger, but
muscular. Well, I'm gonna say
when he's just
fatter, maybe.
When he's not on stage and he's just moving regularly, he's got that sort of like that tall guy slump to him where he just doesn't really feel like he wants to be that tall.
Right. Yeah, hunch over.
I just think guys' stress levels would be a whole lot lower if they weren't constantly worried about how to get taller, and they would probably look better on stage.
Who are you calling stressed, Tanya?
This is why you just do the open and don't worry about it. You just get as big as you can fucking get.
It would be stressful though, because I know, I mean, even for me, like I've heighted in at, I mean, it's never an issue because in my, bikini, it's 5'7" and over is the highest, the tallest height category. I'm never going to measure under 5'7", but I've measured at 5'10". I've measured at 5'11". I mean, I've measured, 5'10" and a half, 5'11" and a quarter. Like it's like, it does, if that was something that I had to hit every time, I mean, I would just take whatever I'd heighted in at the shortest and always go with that.
What about 5'12"?
12.
5'13" is what I'm going for. I'm going for 5'13". That's goals.
I had thought about for a minute doing classic, but then I had them height me and they heighted me in at 6'1" and some change. And so it's a tighter weight cap. I'm like, if 6'2", because then it would be like, what was it in the pros? I think it's 248, something like that, which is right where I landed.
I just want to know how much weight you lose per inch you like of height, or is there like a
it's like 7 pounds. It's pretty significant.
Oh,
7 pounds.
For like half inch.
It's
wow. Okay.
It's not insignificant.
No, that's a lot, especially when
you get your height. I mean, based on how much like synovial fluid you might have at any given time. I mean, your height can vary like literally a quarter of an inch or something.
Sure.
Yeah. Every one of those little mechanisms at every show, every place I've ever been to measures me at 5'11". But when I go to my primary care, they always measure me at 5'10". And I tell her, like, your thing is wrong because I'm 5'11" everywhere else on the exact same device that you're using. But
this is for the NPC. So 6'1". Well, no, this is before they raised the caps. It used to be mine. Well, 6'1" it's 235. That's the cap.
Yeah, all I know is ultimately I'd be talking to my client, making it very simple, and it'd be, what did you last get heighted at? 5'7". Then we're going to prepare for 5'7". Just simple. And if not, you're just going to, why gamble anything? Why bother do that?
Yeah, I mean, that was a tens of thousands of dollars error.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of time. He could have spent that time in other efforts. It's not like you're going to get that time back.
Or hundreds of thousands.
Has he competed this year?
I don't think
No,
this year. I
not yet,
think he
but
competed
there's only been
think so.
really a couple of shows.
Okay.
There's
Well,
really
I mean,
many opportunities.
he missed the Olympia and he missed honorable, right?
No, he
Well, he was
competed in the
in the-
Olympia.
Oh, he made the Olympia.
Yeah.
He missed another.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
He just had to cut very aggressively. He didn't have a great look when you're
Yeah.
trying to drop that kind of weight.
So here's the way they word this shit is so confusing. So here it is, I'm looking at like where what, and the IFBB is 10 pounds over the NPC. So up to including 6'2", which I don't know, is that me? Or up to including 6'1" is 224. Up to and including 6'2" is 232.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
Yeah. So you're up to 6'2", including 6'2". So you'd be 230 what?
232 in the NPC, 242 in the pros.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it sounds like you can get up to 242 because you're 6'1" and some change. So you're up to 6'2", including 6'2".
Weren't you more like 252 when you got your pro card, Paul?
248 the morning of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a
Uh,
little more diarrhea, you would have made it.
yeah, a little more diarrhea. I mean, I was pretty peeled out for that show. Wesley is 6'3", so it's 249. So you got 7 more pounds.
Yeah,
So is it, if you're shorter, is it generally just easier to make weight just because of the way shorter people are built versus tall people?
What is Mike? You said 5'7"?
No, it's actually the opposite. The
is it?
bigger guys, yeah, because they tended to give a smaller bump in weight to the taller classes when they made an adjustment. So I think if I'm correct, I believe like Chris Bump said would have gotten like a 5 or 6 pound increase or something like that for his taller height, where some of the guys in the lower under 6 feet were getting maybe up to 10 or 9 to 10 pound increases, from what I believe. Again, I didn't study every single class and number and weight and height class.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the NPC. So
What's
you said
5'8"?
5'8" is 187 in the NPC.
Oh, nice. Selfishly asking for that number.
So you said Mike is 5'7"? I don't know what he is. 5'9"?
5'7". I think it's 5'7".
That's
he's not
182. There's no way that dude's 182.
No, he was hoping
I think
to
he's allowed. I
5'9"
think
be 212.
Yeah, didn't he weigh in like a 207 or something like that? Was it
206, I
number
think.
close to
something like
206?
that,
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think
Big number, yeah. No, he's huge.
I think the classic caps the pros 10 pounds heavier than the NPC, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I think he could be up to 197 if he heighted in at 5'7". I think that would have allowed him to weigh up to 197. I believe at the Olympia. Was what I thought the talks were.
Yeah.
Right.
Either way, he's that guy that's right on the edge. He's that guy that makes the difference if I'm going to be able to make it stepping on
Yes,
stage.
I did at 5'8". That's would be 198 or 197.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. So yeah, he would have been 5'8".
So can he move up a division? Is that what you think he needs to do, or does he just need to figure out his height?
Well, I mean, now once they height you, you're heighted. That's how they do it.
Oh, okay. So, but we know then he knows exactly where it is right now. No matter
Yeah.
He knows what to target. He knows what to target for. Right.
I don't know why that wasn't clear to him.
It was full of hopium.
Hopium.
Yeah.
And who knows? It could have been coach said, "Hey, bro, that's not a good idea," and he pushed it. I just can't imagine Neil doing that.
Yeah. I just couldn't wrap my head around him not knowing how tall he was. Like,
unless he got some kind of inside information that, hey, we're going to let you slide in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be a little heavier.
Or somebody gave him the impression like, hey, no matter what, they want you in there.
I don't know if you believe it or not, but the rumor was they always kind of gave Chris Bumstead a little wiggle room.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's a pageant and it's a popularity contest. You want the most popular people there.
For sure.
Yeah, I think he just thought that the ruse was just going to continue.
I mean, I kind of wish they would at this point. He looked really good the year before.
No, screw that. You play by the rules.
No. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the opposite of what you want to encourage, is somebody coming in and cheating continually just because they look good.
Yeah, that's
The
awful.
judges
it's not
were cheating. He was just following their lead.
Well, if he's going to be as la-di-da about it, like his height and the rules, I hope you miss it by 1/8 of a pound. I mean, I could care less. You either make it or you don't. And that's the reason why even pull the scales out? Why pull the tape measures out if we're not going to follow the rules?
Yeah.
I mean, because again, like I thought about the other side of the coin is look at guys like Urs, who sat at the bottom of the top 5 of Classic for a while. And if you had given him 4 pounds of leeway, he might have been one of these years Mr. Olympia Classic for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost certain of that. So it's again, there's a big difference. A couple pounds for these guys could have made a big difference. Like Wesley could have had a huge challenge at the Arnold if he had to have gone up against Mike regardless. So, I mean, these guys work way too hard to get cheaped out by a quarter pound by some other competitor that's standing on their tippy toes or fluffing up their mohawk.
Yeah, I mean,
follow,
and then
all the rules or follow a different sport.
And then it's Pandora's box, because if you do it for him, then everyone else is going to be like, well, I'll come in a quarter pound.
All
quarter
right, so
inch.
this is the one rule bodybuilding follows all the time.
They must height Wesley at 6'4".
I mean, yeah, I believe that he's under the cap now. I didn't even think about it. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
because he said it says here that his weigh-in was 230, 249, which would be the cap for 6'3". And he said he was 6-7 pounds under the cap, which would be 256 for 6'4". So they must have him heighted at 6'4". I don't know. I'm just,
Or he could have been like 6'3 and a quarter or something like that. Is because he's allowed up to 6'3", including 6'3" would have been the weight cap below, and then 6'3 and a quarter and above or whatever,
Right,
would be another weight class.
no, yeah, it says for this is okay. So that's how I'm always confused about how they.
Yeah,
how
so
they
let's
do it.
say let's just say he's 6'3" and a half. What's the weight cap for that, Paul? 240s or something?
256.
250. Yeah, so he must have been 249, 7 pounds. Yeah, let's just say he got heighted at 6'3 and a quarter. Doesn't have to be 6'4". That's going to get him in that range.
Okay, so he was still 6 pounds under.
Yeah.
7 pounds under the cap.
Yeah.
He
Which is
looks so
crazy.
good this year. Looks so good.
Yeah.
7 pounds of meat's a lot of meat.
Okay, so I see up to and including 6'4". That makes sense.
Yeah.
So like if you're 6'3" right on the button, then you're in the if you're 6'3" and in 1/8, then you yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, that's just a weird way of wording
He just
it.
had to break 6'3", basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely taller than me. Standing next to him. I don't know. I used to be 6'3", but not anymore, I guess.
Gravity, man.
we definitely shrink as we age. That is for sure.
Mike sent me, I want to talk about this a little bit, sent me a really interesting video the other day. It was an interview on Joe Rogan talking about the war on peptides right now. I mean, if you guys haven't seen that interview, it was, who was it? It was actor, right? The interview was with?
No, they had mislabeled it. Shoot, I forgot the guy's name, but he talks about peptides often. But they had mislabeled that clip as if it was the guy who plays Casey on on Yellowstone, because he had
that was definitely not him.
A day or two earlier. Yeah,
we just watched it, and I forget the guy's name. Yeah, he's been on
anyway.
a few times.
Yeah, it was really, really fascinating talking about this, and I didn't realize this. The GLP-1s were developed by public funding at the NIH.
Yeah.
And what is that noise?
Yeah, so he's got a weird buzzing noise happening.
That was aggressive.
Yeah.
It was interesting them talking about. I didn't realize that it had been, so like the whole thing about pharmaceutical companies protecting their intellectual property. They weren't even developed by pharmaceutical companies. They were developed by public funding through the NIH, and then pharmaceutical companies kind of riffed off of that, and that's the game they play. And then he talked about there was that whole push, what was it, a few years ago, where they were trying to get all the peptides. This is why, like the ones being labeled as dangerous, they were trying to get them reclassified as biologics since they're amino acids.
Yeah.
And that allows them to further restrict access to them. But not only that, it changed the way they can apply for patents. They can apply for patents on them for longer periods of time when they're labeled as biologics. The whole thing was pretty fucking insidious.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
pretty
12
dirty.
years-
It sounds pretty
12 years.
dirty. Yeah.
12 years for a biologic and 5 years for a regular medication. So biologic, gets you a lot more money.
What were you going to say,
If
Mike?
you add up their ability to extend it under certain circumstances, it could be at like 22 years, they were saying.
Wow.
Yeah. The guy's name is Brigham Bueller.
Oh, okay.
Brigham Bueller.
Yeah.
3 days ago, it's
And he
about
is,
2.5 hours.
He's the Ways Too Well guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an excellent interview, and it was man, just a crazy, it's just pretty insidious, like the stuff that's going on. And then like he was talking about, I don't remember the exact situation, so I paraphrase here, and excuse me if I've got this wrong, but Mike, you can talk about it. But he was talking about the situation with them claiming safety about peptides coming from China, and everybody's in the stuff knows that most of these stuff are made at the same, for the most part, out of the same place in China that makes them. And behind the scenes, while they were claiming that the stuff was dangerous and potentially not manufactured to the same standards, wasn't it Eli Lilly that was trying to buy the manufacturer in China that makes the majority of the peptides?
Yeah, it was Eli Lilly who was negotiating the purchase of this Chinese peptide factory while telling us that Chinese peptides are unsafe. And using that, like this latest piece of legislation that was introduced, they haven't filled the bill with any real text yet, but this latest round of legislation uses safety as sort of the premise for the whole thing. It's just we got to keep us safe from ourselves. God forbid we choose whatever
Protect
we
the
want to
kids.
put in our body,
But we can drink and smoke as much as we want.
there's a
And
lot of
eat
stuff in
any
that.
foods from
I
Kraft
prefer
and
if you didn't,
Nabisco.
but yes, you could.
Kraft and Nabisco, Johnson & Johnson, who will sell you chemicals that give you dandruff and put it in the shampoo that's labeled dandruff shampoo. Yeah, those guys, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, one of them poisoned children with formula in third world countries.
Yeah, but the interview was really, really, really good. So if you want to look it up, it's on. You can look it up. The short clip that I watched was on YouTube. It's called "The Dangerous Precedent Behind Big Pharma's GLP-1 Patents." It was, look, we all kind of knew this stuff was going on behind the scenes, but it's pretty fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, and to be fair to the retatrutides and the biologics guys, they won that in court. It wasn't something they just like paid for. They had to win. They like the state tried to, or the government tried to say you're only 5 years, but the court decided this is a biologic because they are doing peptide manufacturing places.
I'm not that familiar with the process of getting these things. I'm only vaguely familiar, I should say, with the process of getting these things approved. And after their last round of trials, they're like ready to complete an application. And my understanding is they haven't completed an application yet, which seems strategic to me because I feel like they want to go after all the black market manufacturers of retatrutide first to make sure that they have the most profitable launch of the product that they could possibly have. And then, you have the Trump RX thing happening. And, Eli Lilly was standing up on stage when he made the announcements, and they've been like the biggest, one of the biggest proponents or opponents of peptide technology. And so far, like even Secretary Kennedy hasn't said much about this particular bill and what's happening right now because he's always been, a staunch supporter of peptides, and for him not to be saying anything about that bill, it just makes me think there's some backdoor dealings going on there with the Trump RX and the Eli Lilly thing. And look, we'll give you a successful launch of that, and then he looks back at the Eli Lilly CEO when he's making that announcement, talking about in the context of GLP-1s, and he looks back and says, "We're going to make it where everybody can afford it." Wink, wink. Kind of put him on blast right there on the stage.
Right.
Wow.
Well, Here's the question: has anyone calculated how much we're going to have to spend in healthcare costs for a 70% obesity level in the country, and then how much money we're going to save if these things actually cure it?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty significant, but
Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead, Mike.
Well, I said, or how are we going to pay for the fallout of this 10 years from now when we realize the long-term damage this is doing to people's metabolism, right? There's just so much.
Another
I
solution.
don't know. Sell another solution, right?
Yeah.
Perfect setup.
Yeah.
Cronyism gonna crony, I guess. Ultimately.
Yeah, I'm even to the point now where I'm scared talking about this shit on YouTube. That's how crazy it's gotten.
Right.
We love Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is.
Yeah, we don't want like Men in Black showing up in front of our doorsteps, man. Excuse me,
I
we
would
would
love
like
to
to
know
talk to
why.
you. Please get in the car. It's like, nope. No.
This is an interesting one. Goodman Gill, there's a dogma now that Red Eye's even catabolic with training in PEDs. I know there's some coaches. I think it's some old school coaches out there that are talking about this, and I look, it's complicated. If you can't eat, you certainly aren't going to gain muscle. I've experienced that myself. But I've also seen quite a few clients that are running GLP-1s and have gotten massive right now. I mean, I have one client that put on 60 pounds this off season running GLP-3. And, clearly it didn't impede his ability to gain muscle. And I would think improving insulin sensitivity, improving liver health, improving pancreatic function are all going to be a benefit for your growth phase. I would assume, assuming that you can eat and you don't have gastric emptying isn't impacted so negatively that you can't put on size. I just have not seen that be the case.
I think that the antidote to GLP muscle wasting is HGH. So when we're talking about our cohort, we're talking about people who are regularly on super physiological doses of HGH. You're not going to have the muscle wasting that you have in the general population. And it's pretty hard to muscle waste on 3 grams of gear and 12 IUs of HGH.
Right, unless you're right. No, I was gonna say Barbell Medicine did a good breakdown on why the GLP tests were good, but this is where you'll see the level of muscle loss. And if you don't resistant train, you will get some muscle loss. And a lot of the quote lean mass loss is good because it's like intramuscular fat, things like that.
Well,
it's like 10 minutes.
It'd be interesting to see if they start prescribing HGH with GLP-1s. I think that would be, I mean, that would make some sense.
Yes, please.
I'm in favor of it.
I'd have all kinds of muscle wasting going on. That was good.
Anyway, enough of the political rant, I guess. But I don't want to get too political. But there's definitely, as my father always used to say, just follow the money and you'll find the answers.
Yep.
Pretty much everything in the world comes down to drugs, sex, and money.
He who makes the gold makes the rules. Yeah.
It's like 3 of my favorite things you just mentioned.
And they are everybody's. That's why they rule the world.
Yep.
The 7 deadly sins.
Let's grab some questions.
All right. Let's start off with our member questions from Spencer. How to prevent post-diet binges? Low fat, low carb, high protein to maintain satiety if prone to binging.
Well, we just talked about one possible solution.
That's one good way, yes. High protein.
GLP-1.
Proteins you're out, is what I would always say, right? Proteins you're out treat. Like protein shake. What do you want to?
Or just take a GLP-1.
But there, I mean, even with that, there are definitely things that, happen physiologically after you've been in an extremely restricted state for an extended period of time, specifically post-show. It's not just the physiological hunger, it's psychological hunger as well. And even with a lot of GLPs, like you can still have cravings for things. And there's a lot of your body is craving also getting back to a certain set point if you are extremely lean. I think, Dave, you said self-control or,
discipline.
That's important too. Discipline is what Dave said. Yeah. You're knowing that it's going to happen or knowing that you're going to have these cravings, I think is really key. Something Dave and I talked about just this week was, even in that state, like even if you eat the whole pack of Costco cookies, you're still going to be hungry.
Yeah.
I know, I've done it.
That's why I brought it up.
Well, I just look at the word binge, right? And it's like that's kind of a controllable situation. You can make sure you avoid, you're not putting yourself in a binge. Like if you're able to be controlled to get yourself dieted down to a destination that you want to be at, you should allot for some discipline to balance it back out. Now there's a thing or two of having snacks or off meal plans or post show enjoying a little bit of free foods, but there is no room for binging, so you just don't do it. If you want to ruin everything you already put work towards, and then everything you have potential to work towards after a show or after a cut, you can't binge. You got to find a way to just kind of, utilize a few snacks or a little bit more easygoing in your diet, I guess. But binging is just, can't do that part. You're just going to ruin everything real quick and get yourself probably sick.
I think
You gotta
going
know-
outside is a good one if you're coming out of a depressing diet. You know what I mean? Get some
What was
sunlight. Go outside and get some sunlight, get some activity
Absolutely.
Yeah.
with
And just
sunscreen.
and just focus on, well, sunscreen's going to stop you from getting the stuff you need from the sun. So,
After 15 minutes.
yeah.
Well,
You,
there's-
Punctuated bouts of short-term sun exposure all day will help. But leaning
sun exposure
on-
got me 2 cases of melanoma.
yeah, if you're prone to
That's why I said
melanoma,
sunscreen bar.
if you're prone
Almost-
to melanoma, watch that.
I almost died.
Lean on
So
those high
feelings about
quality.
that.
Lean on those high quality foods, just more of them, and especially protein, because a lot of that appetite drive is driven by your body wanting to regain lean mass. So lots of protein, high quality, high volume, nutrient rich foods with a little bit of indulgences you've been missing. Like, don't start with the indulgences, otherwise you'll just keep going and going and going, because your body's not really looking for that. It's looking for energy and nutrients.
I'd also say keep some of the, like, let's just say let's put it into perspective. Like it's a post show scenario, right? You want to prevent post diet binging. Try to keep a lot of like the habits that you've built already in play through the rebound. So like that might just be simple as like wake times and not pushing your meals back further. Like anything that you can do, like keep up with a little bit of your cardio, keep up like with a little bit of those routines that you've built to make yourself successful, to diet down successfully. If you throw everything out the window and saying, well, I hit my goal, I'm all done with the work here, it's not just going to be the binging that comes into play, but other things that keep like your blood sugar in line are going to start getting out of whack. Your digestion can get out of whack if like activity completely stops. Like say you had a 10,000 step goal daily and that goes out the window. So try to keep some things intact, and you might find that bleeds into other habits and keeps you kind of in track on a rebound as well.
And
Would be
speaking
one
of
quick
habits, David Boggs made a really good comment there. Coming out of a diet, structure stays the same, just calories go up. Exactly. Keep your structure. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
what Dave
also
and I are
why I
doing
get
right now.
This is why I get aggressive with rebounds. I know a lot of guys like to reverse diet people, and I found this is just what I found, that reverse dieting fails a lot of times because people can't stay disciplined. Just Grayling wins. The gremlin comes in and takes over, and they can't stop themselves. So I usually just get super aggressive with the rebound food, having people eating a shit ton of meat and rice. It's pretty hard to get fat eating meat and rice.
Yep.
And you can fill yourself up. You go out and try eating. If I told you could have as much top round sirloin and rice that you had, I would be willing to bet that you probably aren't going to get that fat off of that.
Or even white potatoes, right? Something that's even more satiating and more filling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some fruit, bring in a sweet fix with a lot of good nutrients.
Yep.
Well, that's how we do our high
Fiber.
days.
Lots of fiber, right?
I've done it both ways. I've reverse dieted out where I stayed at the calories that I had going into the show, and then sort of tapered up. And since Paul's been coaching me, we do those rebounds where it's like 3 subsequent high days. And I'll tell you, there's no thought to cheat when you're that full of chicken. And
Well,
rice.
that was a trick I learned from Justin Harris, and there's a reason why I do it.
Yeah.
It's just get people full. You come after a show, because usually it's after a show or coming out of diet. Usually that's when the bender starts. People have one binge meal post show, and then it turns into a full week, and then that week turns into a month, and the next thing you know, you're 30% body fat in 6 weeks.
Yikes.
So
Hey, I got to jump off early, guys. I'm sorry to bounce on you, but
yeah, no problem.
I'll catch you next one. Okay.
See you later, Dave.
Yeah.
See you, Dave.
All right, what do we got next?
Next one is. See, I'm getting our member comments first, but I'll get everybody's questions eventually. So this one from the Thomas Turner. I've been on MOTC for 6 weeks, thinking of switching to SS31 if I can find it. Any opinions?
I don't know of any compelling reason why you would want to switch. I mean, what's the logic there for switching from MOTC to SS31? And 6 weeks on MOTC is probably not long enough to really see the benefits from it.
I was gonna say I've tried SS31 right after the contest prep, and it did help my labs. I didn't feel anything per se, but my labs were substantially better. So it seemed to be good for my health perspective like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it's like I don't see an analog between MOTC and SS31. It's like two different tools for two different things, really.
Yeah, they
I
do
don't
different things.
Yeah, I mean, what's the objective here? I guess would be my question. Like, what are we trying to achieve?
I mean,
Give us some context.
I mean, yeah, SS31 is for mitochondrial repair. If you suspect that you have any mitochondrial damage, then potentially, but it's MOTC is more for fat burning and increase in metabolism. They really do two different things. They aren't interchangeable.
Yeah, like one fixes the engine, the other one revs the engine, I guess.
Yep.
So, I mean,
my understanding of the best protocol and also the way these things work is that SS31 is for mitochondrial repair, and MOTC is for mitochondrial performance.
right.
And what the best protocols are to run SS31 for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then put in the MOTC, because now that your mitochondria is functioning properly, theoretically, that why would you put a supercharger on a broken car, right? There's no reason to start with MOTC if your mitochondria is not functioning properly to begin with.
I just started a SS31 cycle as of today, as a matter of fact. So I'll report on that for you guys, because I had blood work done, and let's just say that it's time to. My coach told me to get in a health phase for 8 weeks.
So is your next step, if you start these MOTCs and SS31s, to start adding high intensity cardio so you can increase your number of mitochondria, or you just kind of let it ride?
I'm gonna let it ride. I do fasted cardio every single day, 20 minutes. Like
Yeah,
that
I mean
is
high intensity type,
non-negotiable.
sprints and stuff, so like Amy does on her bike and stuff.
Oh,
You know what's great for fixing mitochondrial function? A
Trend?
calorie deficit and HIIT cardio.
yep,
Yeah, does the same thing, really.
that'll work.
All right, what do we got up next?
All right, we got from Psycho. Why does Retta not work on me? I only get side effects. I'm going to just say there are many different drugs for many different reasons. This is why we have like a dozen different high blood pressure medications and cholesterol medications. Like not every medication is the right fit for you just because it's the hip thing or everybody loves it. If you're not getting the effect you want, try a different GLP.
I think I prefer tirzepatide personally over the R word. I've been on it. The problem I ran into with the R word, which is the dirty word we can't say on
I know, right? Yeah.
YouTube now. The issue I ran into with it when I personally tried it is my pulse was just so elevated, even on small doses. And it made me anxious too. I think probably, a lot of stuff makes me anxious, but it definitely
pulse being up would probably increase your chances of anxiety as well.
Yeah, I mean, it did make have a more profound impact on my blood work though than tirzepatide did. So yeah, some things don't work for some people. Just how it is, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you try the mix thing and people talk about where they do both, or you just stay with your current set?
No, I haven't tried that.
A lot of people are coming up with different cocktails, and adding, cagrilintide or, the guy who lost his channel that we don't talk about, he has a bunch of different protocols on a website that we can't talk about.
found on the other streaming platform that we can't talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This
try it out.
morning, Broderick called it retarditide, and I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. I was laughing out loud.
I want to talk
He
about
said it
Project.
twice.
I want to talk about Project. He seems like the state of Alabama personified. Is he from Alabama?
No.
No, he's from Delaware.
No way.
Broderick.
Where is he?
Broderick is extremely, extremely intelligent and articulate.
Oh, I believe that. No. I'm not saying he's stupid. Like he's like country wise plus wisdom. Plus he's smart.
Oh,
No, he's from Delaware. I've had Broderick on before. He cracks
no, he's
me
very,
up. My God.
very practical, straightforward New England attitude for sure.
And he is funny. Oh my God, he's
Yes.
funny. I'll never forget when I had him on my podcast, and he said, you know, you talked about gurus on social media, and he's like, you know, when you have a triple-digit IQ in a room full of double-digit IQs, you seem like a genius, but that doesn't mean you're a genius.
The land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah.
You know, when you got a 105 IQ and everybody else has got an 85,
Yeah.
you're a genius.
Yeah, if you can like vibe with him on his level, he's one of the most enjoyable, insightful, genuine, generous people you could ever spend time with. I've traveled the world with him. I've stayed at his house multiple times. He's a lot more than what you assume just on the screen when he's yelling at stupid commenters, for sure.
He is one of the few people I actually listen to on the regular. I really enjoy. I like the grumpy old man vibes too. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I need to get him back on again sometime. When I brought him on, I asked him about coffee to start off. I think I threw him off with that question, and he riffed on coffee for a good 30 minutes.
He loves talking about coffee. He'll do a whole podcast about coffee if you want him to.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't drink it, but I'd listen to that podcast.
I love Broderick, so he's one of my favorites.
And if you are out with him at a fancy coffee place, he will buy you a $15 cup of coffee just to prove to you how good he thinks it is.
I didn't know you were tight with Broderick. Tanya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it Team Evil Geniuses? Is that what it's called? Or it's called
Yeah. I've been tight with them for a couple of years now. I went through like a 4-week travel stint with them in 2024 for the Arnold US, and then a Strom seminar in between the Arnold US and the Arnold UK over in the UK, and then the Arnold UK, all straight.
Are you guys still doing the Instagram show sometimes?
Yeah, he's trying to do one every Tuesday right now with somebody else from the team, and he started off with me a couple of weeks ago, so I think the replay of that is either up or on the member site.
I need to get him back on sometime. I don't know if he would like this or not. Probably not his vibe, but I need to get him back on.
You think he doesn't like to fart knock around? I think he likes to fart knock around.
One thing is he totally does not like being the center of attention, believe it or not. He would rather be speaking with his team and be more of a background figure, collaborating and talking, than be the center of attention. He really hates being the center of attention.
The wise and powerful Oz.
All right, what do we got next here?
Next up is going to be from Brennan. Good morning, guys. My question of the day is Tren Hex worth it? Seems like a very expensive Tren E from what everyone has to say about it. He's also a fan of Tren A.
I just would run Tren Ace.
I like Tren Ace myself.
Yeah. It's quick in, quick out in case you run into problems. Shorter ester, more active compound.
Yep.
Tren Hex is a really long ester from what I recall. I think it's like 12 days.
Oof.
Something like that. I don't recall it off the top of my head. But,
for vacations, we need to be high on Tren.
Jeez.
But yeah, if you get yourself in trouble on Tren Hex, you're stuck with it. But Parabolin was the original Tren Hex. It's what everybody ran back in the 90s. Just stick with Tren Ace.
Yeah. Not worth the risk of getting stuck with it.
So that it's a half-life of 8 days, Tren Hex.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 half-lives to eliminate, so you're talking about 40 days.
Right, a
You
vacation.
get yourself in trouble. And 40 days to peak. People always report less side effects with it, but what they don't realize, it's such a heavy the ester's such a heavy molecular weight. It's like a third of the compound. I think the old school trend packs the parabol, what were they, like 76 point whatever milligrams? Somebody's with autism's gonna correct me on that. And then it's like actual 50. I think it worked out to be exactly 50 milligrams of active compound. That's why they came up with that weird ass number.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like it's like a third less of actual compound in this. So you have less compound and a slower half-life. So it's not, they're 2 weeks in and they're like, oh, I feel great. I don't have any side effects. Well, motherfucker hasn't peaked yet. That's why.
And when you do peak, it's 40 days out. So that's enough time to lose your job, lose your wife.
Oh yeah,
That's enough time to flood the earth. You know what I mean?
yeah. Lose the mortgage, everything.
Just run ace.
Yep.
All right, what do we got up next?
Money, so he's happy. Next one is from Sarhi. Finally made it to alive. Thoughts on equipoise versus primo as injectable for a woman during off-season versus prep?
Well, if you don't like having estrogen, there's that. I can't imagine. I have heard of women bodybuilders using equipoise. But I am, this is probably a Tanya question. I'm not the expert on female performance enhancement, but I can't imagine, to me, running equipoise as a woman seems insane.
Yeah, I've not heard that be recommended by anyone. Because I've
Neither
looked
have
into
I.
this. I've looked into the same, and the general advice has been not the best choice for females. No.
That's a good question. Guys generally crush their estrogen down to 0. Do you guys mess with it at all when you're in contest prep, like the 2 weeks out or the week before, or just leave it?
Oh, it comes down on its own during prep.
Just from starving, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm on HRT, so mine won't
That's what
that
yeah,
much. But
I know this.
Even as a woman, if you're not replacing your estrogen during contest prep, it's going to get very low by the end if you are truly stage lean.
Yeah, I would figure.
Yeah, I know this from living with a woman who's been on HRT for a long time, is that when the estrogen's wrong, it's all bad. That's the one thing the variable that makes it really difficult.
I lived with no estrogen for about 7 years. It was not cute.
Yeah, I can't imagine you're going to feel good. All right, what do we got?
Right? Yes, go ahead.
All right, next question is from RJL1311. Good morning, everyone. I heard 8 milligram of total androgens for every kilogram of body weight is a good reference point for intermediate cycles. Any truth to this?
I've heard people come up with these numbers for prescribing. I don't know how you really effectively do that.
I know Broderick has some general ranges that he based on what he has seen from top athletes, and I think beginners, at least for men, he talks about between 3 and 5, and then it goes 5 to 10 intermediate, if I remember correctly, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Per pound, right?
No, he goes per kilo.
Per kilo, okay, yeah.
I have to ask Jared Feather because I forget, but he always quotes somebody's cheat sheet from a long time ago.
That was Broderick's, probably.
Yeah.
This is the reason to have a coach tell you if you're.
Yeah, Broderick had the steroid cheat sheet. It's really good. I've bought all of his stuff, but yeah, I remember him having numbers.
But then at the same time, he always says, sorry. At the same time, he always says that is a range, and
What's
that's
up,
not
friends?
necessarily applicable.
Joel, you have impeccable timing because someone actually asked if we still keep in touch with the competitive eater whose face got paralyzed, and yes, we do.
There he is.
Small world. Well, hello, everybody. How is and hello, whoever was asking. So, how are things?
Good. How are you? That's the more important question.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I say. I say I'm alive and breathing. So, how can I complain? I mean, if you want like a full health update or more in depth, I can give that. And if not, I'm happy to just focus on the topics at hand.
How much you benching?
I can't say I bench. So haven't in many years.
Yeah,
I've never met anyone who does.
tell us about what happened and how your recovery's going. What the deal is.
Yeah. So I got Ramsay Hunt syndrome, which essentially is where shingles hits or attacks your vestibular nerve. This causes damage to it, and then ultimately you basically lose, at least in my case, completely the function of one side of your face.
Whoa.
So the best way I'd put it is, imagine if you like were a toy, like an electric toy, right? And you had a battery for your left, battery for your right, and somebody took the battery or unplugged it, everything stops. So that's like hearing, your vision becomes greatly impaired, smell, taste, full facial paralysis. So it differs from something like Bell's palsy, which a lot of people assumed it was, which is where you just kind of have the paralysis. This is like complete shutdown.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Just to wake up one day, no signs or symptoms, and to have half your face paralyzed, and all those symptoms.
I bet you
Um,
thought you had a stroke.
I'm still, yeah. It looked like it. It was, the a lot of people did, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
Kind
if
of
you
a
ever have a
similar
numb or drooping
presentation.
face, please call 911.
Yeah. And did you just wake
Yeah,
up one
or
day? Is that how it happened? Like you just kind of like woke up and there was, or was it gradual, or?
mhm. No, I literally woke up one day,
Uh-huh.
and you do this, and it was in full effect. You don't but I didn't even realize it at first,
Right.
because let's say, if you live alone or whatever, right? You wake up, um, it's like a certain, like it's kind of quiet, right? So I didn't realize at first I was kind of deaf, and I was really like, I thought maybe I was getting a flu because I couldn't really walk. It was extremely like dizzy and not really good balance.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't until I went to and then I got up, went to the restroom to try to take a drink, and then I'm like, why is the water falling out of my mouth? So it's pretty crazy. But you just wake
Wow.
up one day and half the face doesn't work. So
Was it
yeah.
numb
So
as well,
since
or just
then,
paralyzed?
no, you can't feel like it's not numb. It's just paralyzed. So the paralysis, like, I would say that, like, if you pressed on it, and even still, it's slightly different. Like, it probably was a little more maybe numb per se, to use that term, but it's not like you can't feel it. You have feeling, you know what I mean? It's just your muscles basically, like I said, everything just stops working. Like I said, even the taste, the smell, everything's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So since then, I mean, with the paralysis is a lot better. I can move my face. I still have some. I'm still pretty much almost complete. Well, I would say I'm still probably 70% deaf in my ear. Vision is still not back to what it was, but like at least I can see straight. So I've always had like above average, like 22/20 vision. So I still have that in my left eye. My right is probably more like, I don't know, 16 or 18, maybe like 16/20. But at first, like, I couldn't see out of it straight, because it was like, imagine you had like someone else's glasses on, it's
Yeah.
like really blurry. So if I wanted to see straight, I actually had to like close my eye, and I had to manually close it because I couldn't blink for a month or two.
Holy
Wow.
You can
So
also
yeah,
make
it's pretty.
pinholes with your fingers to help you see.
Pardon me, sorry.
I was gonna say you can also use pinholes with your fingers to help you see like small things when you have blurry vision.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so it's pretty crazy.
So what's the prognosis? Is it just now a matter of time and it slowly, like, eventually disappears? Is that how it works? Or resolves?
Great question. So some people recover fully, some people don't recover at all.
Oh
I
wow.
had a really bad onset. Luckily, I also recovered pretty well, considering.
Mhm.
But like I said, so far, and this is, say, September, so October, November, December, January, February, March. So 6 months later, the biggest things is still my balance, because it really affects again like similar symptoms like vertigo. So my balance at certain times is really not great. So balance stability, and then the hearing is pretty much the biggest lingering things.
Gotcha.
And if they ever heal or if it'll change, time will tell. But yeah, until then. So, you definitely sometimes life happens and you definitely learn, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So I truly say every day is a blessing. I've been saying that for many years, but it'll change your perspective. You wake up with half your face not working.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man. It makes you realize how precious your health is. It could be taken away in just a snap of the fingers, man.
Mhm.
It is, and it makes you like the weird thing too is like even really appreciate the little things, such as like not only hey I can get out of bed, because like I said at first my dizziness and balance was so bad I couldn't walk a straight line. And it's funny is actually after a little while I was in Mexico and I got pulled over by the cops because I'm walking like this. They thought I was drunk. No, very quickly I was like I'm just sick, and they looked at me and were very much like okay, yeah, no questions asked. But yeah, I went from like not being able to like walk straight to like then being able to walk straight but not being able to jog in a straight line, then to be able to jog in a straight line, like so. And then even just like I said, even the taste, man, like at first you'd put something in your mouth and you must have like different like the receptors in different places. So like I on one side of your mouth must taste more like acidic foods and then the other side like bitter foods, just as an example. Because I would put something in my mouth, let's say like pineapple, and it would taste like I don't like just cardboard. It would taste like weird. So a lot of the foods and flavors I loved tasted so off. And then sometimes the flavors I really disliked, I actually grew to like. So it was yeah. And during that period of time, now again the flavor has more returned to normal. At least it's still impacted, but it's just like there's certain things like decaf or sorry, instant coffee tasted better than coffee, like a brewed coffee, which is really weird.
Mhm.
And then like things like broccoli tasted normal, but like pineapple didn't. It's really weird. So long story short, I wish everybody health, wealth, prosperity. Get sick.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, we're glad you're doing better.
For sure.
The important
I
question is this:
appreciate it.
what are you eating out of that creamy?
So this is a blender, and I make like fruit ice cream. But yeah, it is really the consistency of like creamy fruit, whatever. A very a special method I use, and it works out amazing. So I'm enjoying a smoothie or ice cream.
Sounds like some contest prep strategy.
I tell you, it's just fruit protein powder, but basically, so it is definitely the ultimate delicious all-time food.
So good.
All right, Amy, we want to grab a couple more questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's enough about me. Let's see what's happening in the chat with everybody here.
Let's get this one from Steve Taylor. Any tips for making the chest pop more in men's physique front pose?
Lift it. Lift it like you have a fish hook underneath your rib cage right here. That's
Yeah, a lot of
definitely a big cue. Big cue.
That's a good cue.
It is.
A lot of
It
that
really is.
posing. I see a lot of guys make that mistake. And this is another thing. Like I think that people don't consider with posing. Like I get a lot of young bodybuilders. I'll correct it. For whatever reason, they want to lean back when they're doing poses, and when you're leaning back, you're leaning away from the judges. So you're actually making the perspective. You're making yourself look smaller because you're further away.
Yeah, it's this
From the judges. So like I tell people, you want to think about popping that rib cage up and getting a slight tilt forward when you're in your front poses, and you're going to look so much better. Same thing on the rear poses. I see a lot of guys too. You wouldn't think that it would affect your lat poses, but a lot of guys want to hunch forward when they're on the rear poses. They do the exact opposite, where you actually want to lean back.
And pop
You
out.
want to tilt your chest up so your lats are more pop more. And I see a lot of guys, not to beat up on him, but I saw Mike Israel post a picture of his lat spread the other day, and he was leaning his head forward and hunching down. But that makes you look smaller, so it makes you, so it's angles, it's illusion. I think that's one of the things I admire about Wesley Vissers. That guy is just a master of hiding his flaws, because he really, like, when you see him up close, he's kind of a blocky guy. He's got a wide waist. But he's just so good with his posing and hiding it, and he's just a magician on the stage. Bumstead was like that too. Bumstead had a lot of imbalances in his pose or in his body, and he would hide it with posing. So yeah, I mean, a lot of that's posing. I mean, then you can do things in the gym to make yourself bigger. I mean, just adding more chest density, obviously, but I think a lot of it's posing. I think a lot of guys add 5-10 pounds to their look just by changing angles.
Hey, one of the other things that works for me, and this is the only pose I know anyway, so it's the to make the front look bigger, the chest look bigger, is that twist with your waist and feet, where you make your waist look smaller, right? And then of course the chest pops out. So that's another one.
A lot of classic guys and men's physique guys will do that, where they angle their hips away to create an illusion of taper.
And it looks like this. It's like almost like a. So that's another good tip.
Hot tip for making sure that you're posing to the judges too is when you record yourself posing with your camera, put it down low, so you try to recreate the angle at which the judges are looking at you, and it will help you get those angles better as far as presenting the physique to the judges.
Oh, that's a great tip. I'm going to use that, Mike.
There's always one guy on stage that leans forward too much, that's taking that advice too seriously. We always, I remember there was a local show I was at last year where there was one dude that was just like I mean, he was totally forward. I'm like, oh man, bro. But filming yourself is a huge thing. I think a lot of guys don't film themselves either, and then they end up relying on the mirror to make adjustments, and they're flying blind. So I think once you get further into your posing journey, it's good to use the mirror every now and then, but then get used to posing without the mirror and using filming yourself so you can see what you actually look like. I think that's another good thing, but it's all angles and illusion.
Yeah. Posing is all angles and illusion, 100%.
There he is.
Right. Next one, let's grab this one from Gamboni Law, friend of the podcast. Do you believe in main gaining, and can it be done holding 10% body fat on just TRT?
No main gaining.
No.
You can maintain?
No.
I believe you can gain less if you try to main gain like that.
That word in itself, I remember I made Greg Doucette mad one time talking about it. He was in my DMs. I didn't even know he was the one that coined the phrase. That's how much I pay attention to Greg Doucette. But he was in my DMs telling me how he was going to crush me because I said maintaining was a stupid idea. But the word itself is an oxymoron. I mean,
it's the new rendition of body recomp.
Yeah, how can you maintain and gain? They don't work together.
Yeah, it's the magical recomp, which I've talked about a million times. The pink unicorn of the bodybuilding forest. Everybody's looking for it, and very few people ever find it. You can occasionally catch it. It does happen. I've had it happen, but I wouldn't spend all my time chasing it. I think the most efficient. I am all about efficiency and what's the most efficient way to make progress. And I think the most efficient way to make progress is to commit to phases. If you're trying to get lean, just get fucking shredded. If you're trying to gain muscle, just focus on gaining muscle. When you try to do both at the same time, you end up doing neither very well. That's what I've seen. So I think it's not to say to get fat. You certainly can maintain body fat and gain muscle. That is certainly possible, but the scale's going to go up. It's not the most efficient way to do things. So don't expect amazing results. I think I get people ask me, like how I put on all that stage weight in all those years, and it was in those few years. It's because I didn't try to do two things at once. I think I see a lot of guys in the gym end up spinning their wheels because they never commit fully to anything. They end up just doing a bunch of nebulous stuff. They never commit to a phase. They never commit to growing. They never commit to getting fully lean, and they end up in this. It's the same thing with mini cuts. I fucking hate mini cuts. They drive me nuts. Like really, like how much fat are you going to lose in 4 weeks?
Yeah, you're gonna have to spend a significant amount of time uncomfortable in a certain phase to get any kind of change. Like if you're not trying to do much and you're already kind of happy with where you're at, you can maintain, but trying to make gains while staying lean and not gaining any weight. I mean, that's what I did for the first few years I was into this, and that's just a quick road to actually dieting for a really, really long time.
If you like being stuck in Alabama mud, do the main gaining thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with permabulking. I get guys all the time that want to just be in a caloric surplus all the time. And they're like, well, I'm up 60 pounds. I'm like, yeah, it looks like you're up 60 pounds, bro. It's looking that way. But yeah, look, if you're just trying to maintain, that's fine. Let's just call it what it is. You're maintaining.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with maintaining. It's, kind of what I did for a year. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to make a bunch of progress.
Yeah, and I mean, if you hit a certain look, like some people just like sitting at what 10-12% forever. They have decent muscle, and they just sit there.
That might be a bit low, but yeah.
Yeah, but they might be happy. And
but once again, that is maintaining,
exactly,
not maintaining.
100%, 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that if you like it. If that's your goal.
The internet loves these made-up words, right? Like the celebrity couple names that they come up with, like Benifer.
Yeah, Portmanteaus. Yeah, Brangelina.
Great. It's a great sales pitch.
Let's just make up some funny name and then start talking about it. Speaking of influencers that you like to piss off, Paul, I watched your buddy Phil on Transparent the other day, and he said something I thought was pretty interesting and it might be worth discussing. Is he says that pretty much all he talked to somebody who's involved in the manufacturing of human growth hormone, and this woman had told him that all of the things that we're buying at the UGL as HGH are actually really GHRP with one modified molecule.
Oh yeah,
that's positive for HGH, and that all UGL HGH is fake.
All of it.
Well, it's made my GH serum look amazing. Thank you, fake HGH.
I mean, I think you would be able to suss that out with mass spectrometry, but I don't know the inside details. I mean, I do agree with him that's UGLGH. Just I've tried both, man. It just doesn't seem to hold up as well. But I don't know that it's GHRP6. I think that was the case back a while ago. I remember there was some in the 2010s. There was
Let's
a lot
have these people go on air and say it. You know what I mean?
There was a lot of fake GH floating around in the 2010s. It just doesn't seem. I mean, there's so much testing now, and I've actually seen stuff taken to labs, and you can argue about contaminants and other impurities that are in there, but look, they probably are shortcutting some processes to get the cost down. I mean, they almost have to be. I know like the mannitol that's in the GH is used to shortcut the freeze drying process and make that cheaper. But yeah, I don't know about all that one. I'd be curious to see what the theory is there. It seems a little far-fetched to me, but who knows?
Claims that use the word everything and nothing usually are kind of BS.
I'm not an absolutist, and I think when you speak in absolutes, you're putting yourself in a corner.
That's right.
Wrong.
You
can double down on those ideas.
And Dave just brought up a good point. Like if you go get tested after doing an injection at your lab, 30 minutes after you inject HGH and your HGH levels are elevated, you pretty much just call bullshit on that whole theory.
Yeah. It's an interesting theory. I'll say that.
My guy's good, so I'm good. I do my blood serums.
With that said, well, I mean, I'm not running any GH right now. I haven't been for a while, but I mostly use generic. It's funny because people think I'm like the Mr. Pharma GH guy. I like, look, if I have, resources are there and I have access to pharmaceutical grade anabolics and everything, I'm going to opt for pharmaceutical grade whatever
Sure.
every fucking time, because you're paying for peace of mind and quality, especially after that recent rash of testosterone we saw floating around that was just vitamin E oil.
Yeah, everything. I mean,
right. So it's, if I'm prepping for a show, I am, that's also GHRP6 would skyrocket hunger, unlike real HGH. Yeah. So
it's a good scam to run.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I'm sure there's a reason behind the theory.
See, the scam I want to see is one of these like gyms and stuff that are giving out peptides. Yes, my gyms are giving out peptides. Instead of giving them the GHRPs and all these other ones, just give them real GH and actually get fucking results.
And then sell them to Samorelin or whatever.
No. Just give them actual GH instead. Tell them it's a Samorelin. Oh, it must have been a bad match.
But then they won't come to they won't come to the gym and buy all the protein.
That's even better because the gym is really about having
workouts.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? I'm sorry. I missed him.
I've had pretty good results
on. That's better, right? Because then you're just getting paid for them to not come to the gym, and they're buying the stuff. So you just basically,
it's a win-win.
Yeah,
I've had pretty good results recently on UGL GH that I've used, but if I on contest prep, I usually don't take chances. I run pharmaceutical grade stuff.
I've been using UGL GH forever, and I will say that I think I've grown a good bit.
Yeah, if it's GHRP6, it's working pretty well.
Yeah.
Just don't ramp up. Hit like 10 IU one night, and if you wake up not being able to move your fingers, it's real.
Oh, that's a great test too.
Yeah, you bust out a 15 dose, or whatever your size of your bottle is. Yeah. I think that's the Dr. Todd test, right? Just shoot it all and see what happens.
Here's a question for you, Paul, and kind of relates to what Mike was saying there. So I don't know if it was Phil or somebody recently on the Transparent podcast, or a couple individuals are now kind of pushing this idea of, and I'm not saying anybody should be using these products anyway, but like younger competitors under like 30, they're kind of saying, or 30 or 40, between 30, until at least till 30, they're suggesting you should lay off growth hormone and not use it because it's, in the turn, shortening your telomere, shortening your lifespan, and kind of, you're using it when it's not necessary. I thought that was a pretty interesting perspective. What is your guys on there?
That's another old school bodybuilding thing, is that you need to serve your time before you take this, and that you shouldn't be taking it in your point. All I ask you is, do you think Andrew Jacked and Phil Heath and Nick Walker waited until they were 30 to take GH?
Well, I tell you myself, I mean, you can look on TikTok and see some 20-year-olds nowadays, and they didn't wait, so you never know, right?
Well, I mean, I could see the argument that if you're younger, you already produce more GH, obviously, than as you get older. So there is that. So you're just adding to what you're naturally producing more.
Right. So I saw peak production. I recently saw a study. It was between, when you're in your early 20s, you make between 0.6 to 1 milligram per day body mix of endogenous GH. So if we want to extrapolate that into bro terms, we're talking about 1.3 units to 3 units that your body is making naturally.
Yep.
That is not going to have the same effect as running
10.
And I think a lot of guys that are trying to just get big as fuck as quickly as they possibly can, you're not doing it without using GH. Look, I'm not condoning that young kids go out and do that. I think probably the smarter approach would be to wait until you're a little bit older. I mean, your GH levels decline when you get older. Mm-hmm. But there is also and I think back about it now, like I never touched GH until I was in my 40s. and I had a lot of connective tissue injuries, tendon tears and stuff. And I'm naturally a small guy. Like I was 175 pounds when I graduated high school. I'm a super skinny guy. I don't have a big bone structure. I'm not a big, robust, built guy like, like some of these power lifters and strongmen are. And I don't know if, looking back in hindsight, if I had used some GH when I was in my 20s, that I think my strength, my muscle size outstripped my tendon and connective tissue growth, and my ligaments couldn't keep up with the mass that I had on my body, and I end up with tendon tears.
Yeah.
I have multiple tendon tears. I tore both ligament. I tore both of my ACLs, tore my MCL, tore my UCL. Tore my bicep tendon. I mean, I've torn a bunch of things.
That's an interesting hypothesis for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, look, this is just me speculating, but I don't know that. There's also the grumpy old bodybuilding coach. I'm old too, but there's the grumpy old bodybuilding coach that you kids shouldn't be doing. I love when guys get older and they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, motherfucker, when you were 20, if you'd had cheap and easy access, you would have been doing every fucking thing you possibly could. Because we all know you were trying to get on the pro stage. Yeah. It's that, I know better than you now. Yeah. Now stuff. I mean, come on, man.
It's the I've paid my dues thing, right? Like
I mean, it's just like, to me, it's like guys putting a wall up. Like you need to do this before you do. It's like the old
gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping. That's a word. Yep.
Yeah, the gatekeeping. Like I used to hear that you have to lift weights for 5 to 10 years before you take PEDs. Like, come the fuck on. Do you think?
I was told that. I was actually told that recently.
I should have taken them sooner.
Yes, I should have taken them 20 years ago.
Well, not encouraging you young kids to do that, but I'm telling you, Chris Bumstead was at his peak when he was, 24, 25?
Yeah.
Do you think that motherfucker waited until he was 25 to take GH and run a cycle? Come on, man.
That dude was doing train in 7th grade.
I don't know about that. I'm not saying go do that. That is not advice, people. But I think
that's a joke, people.
I don't know. I think when you say shit like that, it just rings hollow to me.
I was gonna say all the bros are rejoicing because Paul's saying go. He's giving the thumbs up.
I'm not giving a thumbs up. I mean, look,
thumbs up for GH.
We do all sorts of stupid shit to get big. I mean, it's you probably are shortening your telomeres. You probably are taking years off your life. You probably are risking long term maybe having some insulin resistance. You probably are doing damage to yourself. But I don't know. I mean, we do have a lot of data on growth hormone though now too. I mean, we look at it like there's 30. I mean, it's almost. Serostim's been approved for almost 30 years now.
So,
and there's 30 years worth of data of guys running 18 units per day.
Yeah, GH's safety profile is a lot better than anabolic steroids.
Yeah, safety wise, it's probably better. Yeah,
I was going to throw this out. So my son had a deficiency in growth hormone. My middle child, who's now taller and bigger than me. And he was on growth hormone, now that I recall, and he would do the shot, the daily, I guess the pen. So I imagine, I really don't recall what the dosage was, but he did this at the age of, I think he was 11 through 13, 14. It was before his bone plates fused, right? His growth plates. Never had an issue, never had a problem, never had anything except he started growing at a normal rate, which he had stopped. He was really short and really tiny. So thinking of that, yes, it's anecdotal. Yes, it's an N of 1 case. But the fact that at that age, for that situation, he didn't have any issues, makes me think that, to Josh's point, that the safety profile for growth hormone is fairly high, compared to I don't know, testosterone or something like that. But again, this is an anecdote of my child's experience. And he did have a medical condition that called for that treatment. So people of the internet who are listening to this, big giant asterisk when I share the story. But it
was like Josh was saying. I mean, if you look at the clinical data, HGH has a safer. I mean, has a better safety profile than anabolics.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, and
safety profiles. Yeah, exactly.
And this whole thing about shortening telomeres and all that stuff, dude, anything that you do to increase mTOR and lower AMPK is going to fucking take years off your life.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding, being 290 pounds, eating 6,000 calories a day from chicken and rice ain't great for longevity.
How many 250-pound 80-year-olds do you know?
I mean, it's just like all the shit, basically. I mean, everything we're doing to ramp up mTOR, lower AMPK, all this stuff is shortening. Look, we know the risk. We're getting into this shit.
Yeah.
Longevity and bodybuilding are not congruent. Bodybuilding success are not congruent goals.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's a personal risk assessment. Now the question is, how young and how wise do you have to be to have a valid risk assessment for yourself? But ultimately, you are responsible for yourself, right? I think we have a crew here who's very much into self-determination and not having other people tell you what to do. So, but
yeah, I don't like the gatekeeping stuff. Like, you should wait. No, look, being pragmatic about it. Like, I think there are some basic things you need to do. Like, you need to learn how to fucking lift weights. You need to learn how to eat.
Yep.
I think if you master that, and then it does make sense to eke out your natural, maximize what your natural gains are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, but if you want to take it to the next level, then you start doing. To me, I think the foundation of starting cycles would be the bioidentical hormones would be test and GH.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm.
Those
are the young kids. Those
are the two safest things. I think they would be better off doing that than super draw and SARMs.
Yeah, and think about the adjustability of the risk assessment as we age too. Like, you see people now like Dave Bautista and is it Bautista? I guess Dave Bautista and The Rock shrinking, dropping down in size for longevity purposes. Now that they've hit 50 plus.
Yeah, it's like, did you guys expect The Rock to be huge forever? What?
Right. At some point, dude, he's my age. At some point, he's got to.
So do we call him the Pebble now?
I guess. I guess so.
Wayne the Pebble Johnson.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I think because people are they become so used to seeing like a superhero or something a certain superhero like a movie star a certain way. That like I remember when the Rock's like pictures first emerged, like just like again like the rumors and the XYZ and the speculation and in the end he just said it's kind of for health and. That's it. I mean, exactly what Paul and everybody's been saying. I guess bodybuilding is not a healthy sport per se, and it isn't made for longevity. So get it while you can.
Longevity is absolutely a bell curve. I mean, on one end, you're going to have low longevity if you don't give your body any demands at all. Inactive, sedentary people. And then up here is the sweet spot where you're giving your body appropriate demands. You're pushing it a little bit, but you're healthy. You're not pushing it too far. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to more advanced bodybuilding, where we're pushing past that governor and we're more muscular and leaner than our body would like to be, and we're asking more of it than it would like to be asked, then the longevity starts going down again. That's just how that works.
I like the example that Paul gave of Dorian Yates now as before compared to before. Like, that dude looks phenomenal for 60-something. Dorian looks amazing. Jay Cutler, I mean, he's still big, but he's obviously not as big, but he looks super healthy too. So there is a road that you can thread, or a needle you can thread somewhere in here.
It's called moderation.
Yeah, exactly. It's moderation.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have, and it's no offense to any of those guys. I'm friends with all of them. I love all of them, but I just like, I don't know. It just sounds a little pretentious telling people who are, blasting equipoise and testosterone that they shouldn't take GH. Like, they should wait to take GH. I just don't understand the logic there.
It's the same as those bros saying like, take all the GH or the EQ, but Retta, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Everybody
with Retta.
Yeah.
Well, there for a while, it seemed like the taking GLP-1s was cheating thing had calmed down, but it seems to have resurfaced now, and everybody's getting their panties in a wad about that. Just be tough, man. I'm like, well, if you're fucking tough, don't take anything.
I was gonna say, isn't bodybuilding built on cheating?
Yeah.
Like we're cheating the whole system, your whole biological system. That's literally what you're doing.
Yeah, we're biohackers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna biohack, except I'm not using that one because it makes it easier to diet. I'm not doing that one, man. That's
like Josh said. If you want to be as brutal and as tough as possible, just be a natural bodybuilder.
Yeah, there you
go. Just be fucking natural.
That's brutal.
It's not like the judges have like a suffer-o-meter that they put in front of you when you're lined up. Like
that would be more fun though. I would love to laugh at that. But oh, look at this one. What a sucker.
Yes, look, this guy's like 9.5 in the suffer-o-meter. Let's give him like a better placing.
No, we give him 15th because he sucks.
Yeah,
you suffer too much.
It's the look on stage. You look good or you don't. You know, that's all there is to it. You present it well or you don't present it well.
Anytime a generation finds out that a newer generation has found an easier way to work smarter, not harder, they resent it. That's just the natural life cycle.
Get off my lawn!
How dare you?
I walk to school uphill both ways.
Supposed to only use your hands. You know, how dare you use a fork and a knife? Makes eating easier.
Yes.
I mean, they have ruined video games for me. I'll never beat the Tetris record with all these new strategies they have.
Amy, what is that on your water bottle? The blue, is it the spout?
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
This is supposed to prevent you from getting a lot of wrinkles on your upper lip from drinking out of a straw.
That is
really
Learn something new.
Well,
Amy, shoot me that info later so I can buy that for my wife. She will appreciate it. She will laugh. She will laugh.
It has a somewhat punny name, and I can't remember what it is. Like I'll
like
think of it. But yeah, it's
like that.
See, we're talking about longevity. That's longevity, you know,
Exactly.
not bodybuilding, guys. Straw modification.
Anti-aging comes in many forms.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I'll send you the link. You can give it to her. It'll be a good stocking stuffer kind of present. Yeah. Oh, totally off topic, but since we brought up Jay Cutler, did you guys see the look on his face when they announced that Hottie was in third?
Yes.
Like he's standing there holding it, like you know, the little model standing next to him looking all cute, and like they call it, and he like kind of does this. It was so funny.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
That's pretty funny.
Like Hottie got a gift kind of look.
Well, it was kind of like he just seemed like he seemed like confused that they were calling Hottie's name. It was really kind of funny.
I thought Brandon Curry was third.
I thought Brandon Curry was third too, but
I agree with that. I agree with
every. I mean, you guys were there. I had to miss the Arnold this year, but man, like that whole show was so controversial. Like, man, and like I mean, the internet freaked out. And I heard that in person, like just the audience also had quite an auditory response. So
it was so good live. Like I'm so pleased I saw that live because it was crazy.
That was a good one to go to for your first one, Gonzo.
It was like everything I imagined and even more. It was crazy.
It'll set you up for disappointment when you go to any other show. Although the Detroit was great. It's just smaller.
Yeah, my wife was asking if we wanted to go to the Olympia, and I said my crew told me not to bother after the Arnold. just wait for the next Arnold.
Olympia's fun, man. It's just expensive. It's Vegas.
I mean, I like Vegas overall.
The show itself just seems like it never fucking ends. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and then on for some more and then on for some more, and you're like, I couldn't even stay for the whole thing.
Model.
Yeah,
it's going to be even longer this year.
Oh man, I stirred up some controversy this week. I made a post about being pissed. The more I think about it, there's no Masters Olympia, right?
Yeah. Right. It's not
because of they do it every other year, and then there was also the whole controversy last year where the promoter never paid any of the competitors. And yet they're having Fit Model in the Olympia this year and no Masters Olympia. Like to me, I'm sorry, that's fucked up.
I mean, My guess is that the promoters are thinking that people are more likely to watch the pretty girls than the old
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, this is just obvious, like,
Dude,
business.
is anybody like? Let me ask you, Gonzo. Are you booking your flight to Vegas and getting your hotel room to go see Fit Model?
Oh, no.
Right.
No.
Nobody gives a fuck about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm just gonna say it. Nobody gives a fuck about that. There are 30 girls in my gym right now could not prep and get up and do Fit Model and do well. I'm sorry, that's not bodybuilding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that it's fine. I really do feel like if they want to keep Fit Model at the NPC, like whatever. But I'm with you. I disagree that, or I agree that it should not be on the Olympia stage. Like keep it in the NPC.
Just like the transformation category.
Yep, exactly. Like not every category needs to be on the Olympia stage.
Everyone doesn't have to be involved and included in every fucking thing in the world.
No more participation trophies.
They just want to give they just want to give like the girls that work the Olympia booth something to do at night.
Right.
Maybe.
Get on stage.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I already have issues with like my wife and my daughter saying like, "Dad, you're just doing a boy pageant. You realize that, right?" And now this is giving them ammo right here. Like, see, told you, it's a pageant. See,
all while removing other women's categories who have been in the industry for years and years because they can't afford it. We can't afford to have figure and physique in women's bodybuilding, but we can afford to have Fit Model.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a friendly debate with another pro bodybuilder about it. He's like, nobody wants to see old man ass on the stage, which okay. But
right.
I'm like, does anybody want to see Fit Model either? I mean, seriously.
I mean,
you can see that anywhere. Like you can literally see that anywhere. Like you said, Paul, there's 30 women in your gym who look like that just walking around.
Yeah.
I would bet you nobody's watching damn Fit Model at the Olympia.
No.
I bet you it's going to be the least watched thing there.
They have a thick model.
I mean, imagine having a Masters Olympia where you had, not that he would do it, but like if Jay Cutler dusted it off, and got up there with Kamal, and Brandon Curry decided to go and do, I mean, you mean people want to go see that?
I'd see it.
People would watch that for sure.
I'd pay money for that.
I mean, I think it'd be hella interesting. Mm-hmm. Because these are names, and or again, sometimes it's just amazing and phenomenal to be like, this guy is 60 or 70 or 50, 45, years old. I remember I met a guy at the gym. He was man, how old is he? Like 70 something. And this guy is, I mean, don't get me wrong, you could tell he was big at some point, and he's still massive. And you're like, you're 70? Like, bro, like it's almost something to marvel at. You know what I mean? Like,
I was at the Tampa last year, and the guy that won the Masters there, I don't remember what his name was. I'm sorry, dude, if I forgot your name, but he decided he was going to dip his foot into the Open. I think bro got like 6th in the Open, 6th or 7th. So yeah, I'm like,
Hey, and as technology gets better and our understanding of human health and optimization gets better, lifespans are going to expand. So at some point,
growth hormone, it's going to kill you.
No, really,
don't start until you're over 30 though.
Yeah, but like 50, 60 might be. I mean, we've had the conversations that since we had growth hormone, there's 40 and 50-year-olds now that have no business looking like they look. Yeah, they have no business looking as good as they look.
I'm sure I pissed the entire bodybuilding world off today. I usually don't like to dabble in controversy, but there was just some idiotic stuff being said this past week. I see some idiotic stuff too, so feel free to call me out on the dumb shit I say.
We should just all be idiots safely.
Sometimes you gotta clear the air. It's okay.
No, I love all these guys. I don't mean any ill. We're all brothers in the same journey, but we can disagree respectfully. That's fine.
It's not an attack on their character. It's just an attack on what they said.
No, there's a difference between attacking somebody's character and their ideas. Now, there are some people that are just assholes. There are those guys out there.
Unfortunately, lots of people have no idea the difference between those two concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, and look, who's the fuck say I'm right about everything? I don't know. There's plenty of shit I go back and look at some of my old content. I'm like, fuck, I said that. Probably should take that down.
All right. That's fair.
It'll be interesting to see where they actually put that division in the lineup, though. And I know, like for me, I might be not a good person to opinionate on this, considering that if I wouldn't even watch Bikini if it wasn't on the same night as the Open.
I mean, I'm kind of the same way. No offense, Amy, but
no offense taken. I can say as a bikini competitor, that addition of Fit Model to the show day experience is not great. So no matter where they put it, and that's the other challenge, Mike. And this is somewhat the problem with the women's categories in general, is the way they pace or the way they do them at a lot of shows. I really feel like they should go from the least muscle to the most muscle divisions in the way they run a show. So Fit Model should be first, right? But what they typically do is they do figure first, and then they do wellness, and then they do Fit Model, and then they do bikini. So it's like, it's so jumbled. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they put it. But ultimately, do I think people are going to hang around and watch it? I mean, maybe the first year for the spectacle of it all, because it's the first year. But I don't think it's a category that's going to keep people's attention as it is, which means it's going to morph, which means it's going to push all the other categories, which then, like Tanya said, is going to continue to edge out the more, the other categories. And then, what comes next for, what comes next?
I want to know where the men's Fit Model division is.
It's coming. It's coming.
Keep those memes coming, guys. Whoever's making those memes of what it might look like, keep doing that. They're hilarious.
Isn't that the guys that had like the weird looking suits with shorts?
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah, they do it
with like makeup and crap.
And look, like I'm all for growing the sport and getting more people involved. And I understand they're running a business and they're trying to grow the business, but and that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have any problem with it. But it's nothing against the Fit Model division. But god damn it, man! Like the Masters guys are getting screwed.
Yeah.
And I heard that it's not as big of a draw. And I'm like, well, have you been to a Masters show? I guarantee you, there's more Masters competitors in most shows than there are fucking Fit Models.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot more older people than there are younger people.
There were how many people were there at Masters Nationals? Masters Nationals is 4 days long. There were over 1,200 competitors. There were like 400 bikini girls. There were over 1,200 competitors.
Masters Nationals can bring their wives, kids, and families, and because they're older, that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
that can come watch.
Wives, kids, grandkids.
Yes, you can sell a lot of tickets and a lot of pay-per-views with that. I'm just saying.
Or whatever. Bring the Masters Olympia back to the U.S. It doesn't have to be a part of the regular Olympia, and just bring it back here and let somebody like Gary Udit run it. And just
have the guest shows around Vegas the week of the Olympia, the Masters.
Or do it in Puerto Rico, like they're doing that Puerto Rico Open. It's still U.S. territory. Mm-hmm. It's a easy place to create content, and that's easy to get to. It's a 2-hour flight from Florida, and you can get all the do that and the Fit Model bikini people down there too. You're on the beach already. Just do that. Do men's physique down there too. I don't know. Spitballing.
I don't know. I'm just, it just pisses me off thinking about it. Not that I'm I don't know. I just know a lot of really, like I'm thinking about it. Like this year, why should I go back and forth on whether or not I want to compete? Mm-hmm. And then part of competing is you want to be able to have a chance to make it to the next level. Yeah. That's part of what makes competing fun. Not saying that I would make it there, but like as a Masters competitor, why would you want to spend the money to do a show this year if there's no Masters Olympia?
Do you qualify for next year though, right? If you win a show,
yeah, but that's a fucking year away.
Yeah, and a whole other.
Like you do all this work to get in. It gets harder to prep as you get older.
Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about the quality of physiques too, right? Like if you watch Masters Olympia, I mean, there's some incredible physiques at that level, even on Masters competitors who are in their 40s and 50s. I mean, the guy who won the thing last year, I mean,
Dorian,
yeah.
I mean, Phil looked great too. Kahar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
seeing those physiques is more entertaining than watching men's physique. I mean, no offense, Gonzo, but
that's okay. I'll probably do classic next year. I'll wait till Paul tells me. But all kidding aside, I found the sport late in life as a master's person, I guess, just because I aged into it. I would like the chance, even though it's remote, I know that probably never happened, but to have the possibility of taking it to whatever the next level is, like Paul said, that would be nice, man, rather than getting just shut out because of the pageant girl, you know? I'm just saying.
It's ageism, and we should be talking to our attorneys for being discriminated against.
Ages. Maybe.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just bothers me. Like the whole Japan thing last year was a shit show.
Yeah.
All those guys that went over there and did it got fucked. You know, I mean, it's cool to take a trip to Japan, but man, I mean, let's be honest, the majority of the competitors were American. So, and then you got to take a 20-hour flight and spend. I mean, like if I thought about it, like if I had competed last year and qualified, I don't know that I would have spent the 20 grand to go to Japan.
Wow, 20 grand. Oof.
Oh, that becomes a family trip. It's not just the 20 grand.
Yeah. At that point, you just make it an experience of a lifetime, no matter if you compete or not or whatever. It's gotta be.
So those guys to this date have not been paid. Paul, do you know that?
Yeah, no, they didn't pay the competitors.
Still,
wow.
As far as I know.
Paid. No, they've talked about it. They have gotten paid. Yep. Yeah. I mean, at least Phil Kahar has come on and said that they did get paid.
I think Jake Wood stepped up and paid people.
Yeah.
Which I have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, somebody in the organization paid him. And then apparently since there has been some rectification and apology from the Japan division, but you know what that means, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, well, the promoter in Japan got his sanction pulled, so he's not going to be able to do any other shows. So.
Well, it sounds like somebody was broke. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I guess we see why there's not a Masters Olympia 2 years in a row, right? I mean, the last guy didn't make any money and just robbed the place.
Well, yeah, but that's not lack of interest, though. That's a bad business practice.
Yeah, it's a bad promoter. I don't know, but to me, like they already have the Olympia going on. Just put them up. You don't have to put them up on the main show at night. Just do it during the day at the expo.
Yeah,
just have the guys compete at the expo when everybody else is doing prejudging.
Honestly, yeah, Paul, like what Paul's saying, I'm just surprised they don't do that, because it would just be another way for them, honestly, to earn money, to earn revenue.
100%.
They have the whole expo going all day anyway. You know, what's one more thing to add? Like, it'd just be, you know, and that's something that I think is pretty interesting. Some people at least be very interested in watching Masters bodybuilding. You're at a bodybuilding convention. You're at the Olympia. Like, duh.
Well, it's added value that would cost them relatively little as an investment to put. I would imagine. I would have to actually analyze that, but I would guess that the investment would be relatively small for the return they could expect out of it, with added people, sales, time, tickets.
I mean, it wouldn't really cost anything to add it to the show. I mean, they're already there, and they already got the judges there. They've already got the stage set up.
Built, yeah, absolutely. It's just logistics. It's just logistics.
If they wanted to do a separate show, just do it in Pittsburgh. Let the IFBB run it. Let Gary do it. He puts on great shows, and just do it there like they do Masters Nationals. Let the same people that run Masters Nationals do it.
Yeah, have Tim Gardner do it.
Yeah, Tim does great shows too. Yeah. All right, guys, I got hey, thanks, man. I love you. I love you too, man. I'm sure a lot of people are not going to love me after today. I opened my mouth up. I'm probably pissing people off, but
I'll take care of it.
The fit model competitors are coming for you in their big bottom bikini bottoms, Paul.
I was surprised. I didn't see one woman in the comment section that disagreed with me. It was like some other bodybuilders that were getting salty. Like, we don't want to see that. We don't want that.
I don't think you'll find a woman out there who's going to disagree with you.
I'm like, bro, why do you care if, like, seriously, like, what the fuck does it matter? There's some guys that get salty about what's up, Max? Max is one of my clients. I'm like, I don't, like, whatever. Yeah.
We're the cranky old masters, Paul. That's what we are.
Yeah, we're cranky old masters. I don't know. I may never even compete again. Who the fuck knows? But
The people who get upset with you when you say that about when you criticize the fit model are the guys that just want to watch them on stage. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
You can watch them anywhere. Like go outside. There's fit
gym.
models all over the place.
There was a fit model pro at a recent posing workshop that I went to, and honest to God, if she didn't say that, I wouldn't think she went to the gym.
Really? Wow. She's a pro.
You would never mistake a pro bikini competitor for someone who doesn't work out. They look like freaks in real life.
They look like freaks, yes.
I couldn't imagine putting the amount of work that it takes to put in to be a pro bodybuilder to look like a pro fit model girl.
Wow.
Right. Well, and also they're going to be on the Olympus stage less than a year after starting to compete versus guys who've put their entire life into it.
And girls. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. All right, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you on